Yo, this is Spaghetti King. So, this is the 1940 global map. I just got done playing a game with house rules. I gave the British a bunch more boats. I really enjoyed it. Maybe I'll show it off in the future, but not right now. But these are map changes I've sort of had the idea of coming up with. And I don't have any way to actually really make these. I could make a mini islands on some paper and then try and glue it or tape it to the board. That was a railway marker right there, just made out of paper. I don't have any official thing. But I don't have any method for photoshopping this. I don't know how to Photoshop, really, so I couldn't really make a custom map as I've seen people online do. But I'm going to point out some territory changes I would make and some territory additions I'd make. I had a lot of territory additions, so. First is going to be some changes in the values of the territories. My suggestions here, so. Start off with Canada here. So on mine right here, you have Western Canada. Now, on earlier prints, you would have British Columbia and the Yukon Territory. British Columbia would be worth 1, and the Yukon would be worth nothing. I would like to play with a map that has Yukon and British Columbia on it, but I'd also like to make the Yukon Territory worth 1 as well. So, over here, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, the prairie provinces, I'd like to make that worth 2. So the reason I want to do that is because of income values. Larry Harris himself, I believe, has actually acknowledged this, and he had a little bit of a problem with it. He said that if you look at it, Canada is worth 7 at the moment, and Australia is worth 8. And that isn't really realistic. Canada was richer than Australia. It had a larger population than Australia did at the time. Of course, ANZAC together is stronger. That's more acceptable, I'd say, but Canada should be richer than Australia in terms of just economy or whatnot, for the sake of realism. So this would make Canada worth 9. Now, one thing with this is, of course, you have the UK here. That's worth 8 in total. So you might say, oh, that's a bit of a problem. And I would agree, but I would make Ireland worth 1. And there you go. The British Isles as a whole are worth 9 as well. So, yeah, I'm okay with that. Now, there are some other things. Ooh, my hand. You got the USA here. Eastern United States, Central United States. I would split that up into Northeastern United States, a lot across the slavery line. Southeastern United States, Florida. So you'd have 13 for Northeastern, 5 for Southeastern, and then Florida would be worth 2. And that's 20 in total, as it is. So the value isn't changed in total. It's just divided into separate territories. So then you have the Central United States here. And I'll just make that Texas worth 5, and then Central United States worth 7. Still be worth 12 in total. And finally, Western United States, I would have California here, worth 6. Washington, Oregon, Idaho, worth 1. And Western United States there, worth 3. So it'd still be worth 10 in total. And you may think, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, former Oregon County, that's only worth 1. You may think that's a bit questionable. I understand that, but for me, it's okay. Because I have, you have British Columbia up here. It has like a Vancouver and whatnot in it. Decent fishing economy, whatnot. And then you had Seattle up in former Oregon County. And, yeah, I mean, I think they both should probably be worth one in equivalence. I think it makes sense, personally. Now you have right here. I think Colombia should be worth one. I think Peru should be worth one. Bolivia should be worth one. And I also think you're making Bolivia pro-allies as well. Brazil, I would probably have, you'd have East Brazil on the coast, then you have West Brazil. I would have East Brazil worth 2, and West Brazil worth 1. Because I honestly think Brazil should be worth 3 like it is in other Axis and Allies games. Now, one critique I'll give you is, right here, some people may ask about this. Newfoundland, Labrador is worth nothing. Some people may think it should be worth 1. I don't. Because you have Newfoundland here, and you have Labrador here. And Labrador, to this day, is barely settled. It's minimally used, so I don't think it should be worth 1 at all. Okay. So, I think another suggestion, Portugal worth 2, Spain worth 3. I think Portugal should be worth the same as Denmark. I think Spain can be worth 3, the same as like the Netherlands and the Low Countries, whatnot. I think that makes sense. And they weren't, Spain wasn't the best off, but them being worth 3 is fine as far as I'm concerned. I think it makes more sense, honestly. I'm thinking about making Turkey worth 3. Could stay 2. I'm thinking probably worth 3, though. Now, in terms of money, I wouldn't really change Africa. I'm thinking of making Kazakhstan worth 2. Now, you have West India and India. Now, here's the thing. These suggestions, I'm just sort of throwing them out there. I would only use them in like a modified house rule game that takes into account of them. Really. But when it comes to India, I don't think India is worth as much as it should be, really. You have a major industrial complex there, but it's only worth 5 in total. And I don't think that's really justified. I think India should be at least 8. So, what I suggest is make West India worth 3 and make East India, or just India in the game, worth 5. That would mean British Raj as a whole is worth 10. That's what I think you should do. Now, that money will only give you another infantry in total. But, yeah, I just don't think India is worth enough in the game in terms of money. I don't think it makes sense. So British Raj being worth 10 in total, I think would make sense. Now another thing. Forgot about this almost. East Prussia and Poland, worth 1. Yeah, I'm good with that. Do I have anything else? No. Not for now, I don't. So this is going to be the islands and the territory editions. So I got a lot to cover right now, I'd say. So first off, you have these islands over here. Here, 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 here. This is actually supposed to be an island. I'd add all those. And then you have Northwest Territories, make a border there. Right there. Northwest Territories in Canada, worth nothing. So, also, I'd move Greenland here. I'd move Greenland here. And have Baffin Island be put there, worth nothing. And then there's also, I think, Resolution Island here. There's already an island here that would go there too. They all be worth nothing, of course. These islands are going to be worth nothing unless I say they're not. So I'd add, this should just be called Labrador, and this would be Newfoundland. And then you have St. Pierre and Miquelon, French, of course. You have this island, I don't remember the name of, it's Quebec. And then you have Prince Edward Island being its own island. Whew. 102, Bermuda, 101, Bahamas. And we got the Caribbean, of course. Yeah, the Caribbean's going to be quite a bit. So, West Indies. I would probably make it Cuba, worth 1. Jamaica and Cayman Islands, British. Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire, Dutch, right here. Haiti, Dominican Republic, worth nothing, American. Puerto Rico, American. Then I'll probably expand this sea zone a bit to put in some more islands. So, we got a lot of islands. So we have, I believe, American Virgin Islands, British Virgin Islands, Windward Islands, British, Guadeloupe, French, Dominica, British, Martinique, French, Leeward Islands, British, Barbados, British, Trinidad and Tobago, British. Now, so, if you know about geography, you might be saying, well, hey, that's a bit unrealistic. Trinidad and Tobago is right around here. It's not here. And the Caribbean goes to, like, here in Venezuela. That's not realistic. Well, the problem is how the sea zones are cut. And the thing is, this map already goes against physical geography. You see, if you compare the map, Portugal is over here. On a regular map, you could just go straight to the USA. This is angled. And if you look here, you have South America here. Africa's below it on the map. That doesn't make sense. On a map, South America would be lower geographically to the ocean than Africa would. So the map already breaks reality. So I don't really care. I'll go by what's close, and that's what I'm doing. Keep the Guianas, keep them worth nothing. So you have, I've already seen some maps add this. You have Canary Islands, and then you have the Azores typically around here. I'd say that's realistic. Now, once again, you have reality breaking, right? On a regular map, as I said, it's just a line right to the USA, but it's not like that on this. So you could put the Azores here, for example, or here, and it would still sort of work, because the Azores right here are to Portugal's south, not its north, but the USA is to Portugal's northwest on this, so whatever. You can put it either way, honestly. Canaries, Canary Islands, Spanish, Madeira, Portuguese, Cape Verde, Portuguese. I would add the Gambia here, British, make Sierra Leone British. Liberia is still its own thing. Ascension Island and St. Helena, British. Tristan da Cunha, right here, British. South Georgia, South Sandwich Islands, British. Falkland Islands, British. You have two Brazilian islands right here. Now you would have... Now I'd add Spanish... you have Spanish Sahara right here. I'd add Spanish Morocco in the north there. With that, I'd probably expand the Moroccan border a bit. Like that. So then you have right here Annobon Island. That's Spanish. And you have Spanish Guinea right here. You have right here this little city right here that's Portuguese that Angola still owns, and Angola's Portuguese, Mozambique's Portuguese. So right here, Zanzibar Island, British, Comoros, French, Réunion, French, Mauritius, British, Seychelles, British, Socotra, British, Bahrain, British, and then you'd have Muscat and Oman, or British Arabia. You could split it like this, like Muscat and Oman, and then this is British Aden. But that should be there, I'd say. Every Access Now Last game makes that mistake. Bleh. So you have make Corsica French. I don't remember what these were called, but these are Spanish islands right here. You have the Channel Islands, Jersey, Guernsey, and well, you have Jersey, Guernsey, and the Isle of Man. Right here, there's the Isle of Man, Jersey, Guernsey, and Alderney, which I believe is owned by Jersey. Then you have the Shetland Islands, and you have the Hebrides right there. Faroe Islands, and what was it called? Jan Mayen, that's Norwegian Islands. Greenland would be here once again. Right here, you could have Copenhagen be its own island. You could have this island be Swedish. There's an island right here. There's an island right here for the USSR. Maldives, British Indian Ocean Territory. Andaman Islands, I believe they're called. Cocos Island, Anzac. Christmas Island, Anzac. You can split these up. You can have like Bali, Timor, whatnot. You can split that up. You can make it worth nothing. You can still have main island of Java worth 4 if you want. You can make British Borneo if you want. You can make that worth nothing or make it worth 1 and then make the rest of Borneo worth 3 if you want. Guam should be in the Marianas. It's just realistic. You can split up Celebes. You have 3 islands going here. I don't remember what they were called. It has an M in the name. Sorry to say. You have an Australian island here. You have an Australian island here. Tasmania is its own island. You'd have 4 New Zealand islands around here. You could put the Solomon Islands, the 1 island up here, and then make the Solomon Islands British. And then you can you have the Gilbert Islands, you can have the Ellice Islands, you can have, has a T, maybe it's Tokelau, or maybe that's the other one. And you have New Caledonia, or is it, no. Yeah, I think it's Wallis and Fraternity, actually. French. And then you have British Island, Samoa, and America.